I hope y'all been enjoying the Forex videos and learning a lot about how the market moves. Recap on some of my videos, the market moves in 3 different ways. One being ranging, going sideways. The other 2 are up or down. And the simplest way to look at it is, when I come to the market, I want to see what phase the market is in. Is it on its push phase? Is it on its retest phase? Or is it on its break phase? And once I identify where it's at, that's where I come in patiently and make my move, depending on what direction it's going in. And I look for the bullish or bearish incentives on those phases. And that's where, the success comes in at trading. And that could be any market. That could be stock, cryptos. It doesn't matter. Learning how the candlesticks move. It took me about a year to understand it, and you can make some really good money trading, really lucrative money. But this is not what I'm here to talk about. The recap on the last video about behaviors. So the recap is behaviors are triggers, and the triggers are very unconscious because they're in your reactive mind. They're reactions, and in order for reactions to happen, you have to be unconscious, because if you was aware, it wouldn't be a behavior at that point. Your awareness is like the analytical mind. Your analytical mind knows all the answers to all your questions you have. That's the God mind, kind of in a sense. You wouldn't allow some of your unconscious bad behaviors to rule when you're in your analytical mind. So, in order to deal with the behavior, we need a sense of awareness over the behavior while it's happening, or recaps of how your behavior is in its entirety with some awareness, and the charge that is sitting inside of your reactive mind dissipates. And I know that sounds kind of new agey or whatever, but this is really old. This is really old. It's really old. It's like some Eastern, thousands of year type meditation and type deal there. But what I would like to talk about is the sensitivity of a particular behavior called anger. In some of my videos, we talked about angry people and how to deal with them and how they project their anger on you. And that's their whole idea. Their whole idea is to project their anger on you, get you to submit to what they're saying in a neurotic way. And then now you're playing this big game of, it's like a defense. And that some people get really uncomfortable in their defense. And it's, yeah, in a normal world, you shouldn't have to be in defense mode over somebody neurotically projecting how they feel about you in your life. Because at that point in time, you got to realize this one thing. The only person that you should be worried about and caring about the opinion is yourself. Other than that, everybody else's opinion is just their opinion. It's none of your business. You don't really need to know what somebody else thinks about you. You just need to worry about what you think about. But anyways, sensitivity of a behavior called anger. So in this anger, we're dealing with anger at level 1. Anger at level 1 is just anger. It's just an emotion. Emotions last for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then they dissipate. That's a person that doesn't have a trigger or a reaction to their anger. Your anger is manageable at that time. And once it dissipates, you go back to your equilibrium, whatever that is for you. Then you have that person that's at level 10 with their anger. It's uncontrollable. Sensitivity so strong, even the little poke at them and they're ready to just blow up and explode. This type of person cannot control their life because their emotion of anger is so much in control of them that honestly if you're friends with these type of people, you can only deal with them, and you shouldn't have to deal with anyone. And you know, then these type of people, they're so into their anger. And even I'm thinking like a level 10 person, probably a person that's probably in jail or about to die, because at that point, we know those type of people, that these are the violent people that get violent real quick and get angry real quick, ready to grab a gun and pistol them. These people are probably not in society. You probably don't see level 10 angry people. But what you do see is from level 5 to 7. I say 7 with a grain of salt. It's not a lot of those, because they're on their way to 8, 9, and 10 sensitivity of anger. Now, you do know some friends or some ones that used to be friends that are very uncomfortable being around them because they're so angry about something in the past that they just got multiple triggers to a point where they can't be happy. These type of people that are that angry, see, they look at their anger as a good thing. They look at their anger as if they're tough and all that, but in reality, it's a cry for help. Because remember, when we're dealing with psychology and we're dealing with life in itself, we're all 12-year-old kids as adults. Meaning, when I say 12-year-old, I'm not saying you're 12-year-old walking around playing with toys and stuff. I mean, your mind at 12-year-old, your mind is where it's at. It doesn't change, it just expands. So whatever feelings you felt at 12, it's the same feelings, but now it's an expansion to it. So if you was an angry child at 12, most likely at 30, you're just as angry. But now it's an expansion to your anger. And then the more you let that anger sit and sever and not allow those triggers to be cleared, the worser it gets. That's why I said your 5, 6, and 7 sensitivity are probably on their way to 8, 9, and 10, to a point where nobody's going to want to deal with them. And these type of people, they look at it like, well, you know, nobody wants to be confrontational with me and blah, blah, blah. And the people that's in my corner, they love me, they this, they that. The people that are in your corner with that type of sensitivity of anger and those type of triggers are only there because they feel sorry for you. A lot of them are there because they feel sorry for you, or they're weak themselves, or they could be strong and want to help you. But a lot of people that I know that have that sensitivity so high, that cry for help so high, you try to help them, a trigger will come up. Because as I said and I stated before, your ego doesn't want to change. Your mind doesn't want change. The older you get, the harder it is to change. It's a muscle that you have to build up to make that type of change. So you're 30, 40 years old trying to learn a new trick. It ain't gonna work. Why? Because, I mean, the last trick you learned was probably in 12th grade or in college. And there was probably some class you took. Right after school, you stopped developing and you stopped learning and you stopped educing out information. And you got into this real world where your job is just a repetitive thing you do every day. You're not learning and expanding from that. And you coming home and you're turning the TV on, you're not learning and expanding from that. So you're just holding on to all these things that you've been holding on since you was 12. Pardon the sun. You get what I'm saying? So the sensitivity of anger, can I go? I'm going. One part of me, I'm driving down this little road. You know, I'm always in a car. So when you have this sensitivity of anger, and on the surface, you think you're tough, you think you're this, you think you're that, you think you got everybody in check. But in reality, you don't. You don't even have your own self in check. You allow people to bounce you around with your anger. You know what I'm saying? There are people out there that deal with angry people in a neurotic way of controlling their anger by controlling them. If I can make you angry and I know how to make you angry, and I find excitement and enjoy making you angry, I got control over you. Everyone's in control of you, because once again, it's a cry for help in the first place. And like I said before, even sensitivity on any type of emotion, like that. If you're a sad person and your sadness is at 6, 7, 8, or 9, that's a cry. Of course, that's a cry for help. But you don't want to get to that level of where your sensitivity is so strong that you become immobilized. You can't be out in society. People that are angry and like that, or high levels of sensitivity and anger, are in jail or dead, or just can't have a great relationship. They actually hate themselves because they don't like the way they are, but they're not doing nothing to change it. People that have a high sensitivity of sadness are low-key depressed. And depression is on a lot of people. I've been depressed before. It's not fun. You have to eliminate the charge in which it was created. Now, high sensitivity of happiness, I don't see nothing wrong with that. But, I'm just... If you... High sensitivity of impatience is bad too. So if you can get to a point where your emotions are balanced and they can phase out, and you can go to your equilibrium of being normal, whatever normal is to you, and hopefully normal is happiness, and just, then you a bad mamma jamma. But again, like I said before, you have to tackle it from the root, or substitute the charge in which the emotion was created. Because as soon as you, like as a child, because you don't remember all of these things that happened to you, but as soon as mommy or daddy or any little, let's just make an example, you're at a playground, as soon as you get on the monkey bars and fall and hurt your knee, that hurt creates an unconscious state. In that hurt or the unconscious state, if I say, oh baby, don't get on them monkey bars again, oh that's unsafe, I'm telling you, as a kid, you've created a paradigm. You probably never get on that monkey bar again, because that will trigger you. And that's how our mind works. Once you understand how the mind works, you can make it work for you. Again, everything is a behavior. Even your finances are behaviors. You want a specific finance, well, you need a specific behavior to get those results, because everything, like I said, is behavior, and your results are telling you what your behaviors are. If you're getting in bad relationships and your relationships are all the same, the people, there's nothing wrong with the people, it's you. Your results are the result of your thinking. Your thinking and the results of your behavior. You're running into the same people because unconsciously you're going for these people. And some of these people aren't even the same people. Some of them are just regular people, but you use your art of manipulation, because as humans, we manipulate to turn them into the person you don't really unconsciously want, and you project that out of them. Because whatever you look for, you'll find. So if I'm used to my mom and dad being violent with each other, and now I think violent is okay unconsciously, now I'm gonna get into a relationship and I remember daddy beating on mom all my life, I'm gonna think it's okay to beat on women, or I'm gonna think it's okay to have the whatever trigger that mom gave to dad to get beat on. So I'm gonna be trying to provoke that out of the woman I'm with until I have to beat on her, because it's an unconscious thing. And you have to work on that, the unconsciousness things, and bring them up to awareness. When you bring them up to awareness multiple times, like I said, over and over and over and over again, the result is you eliminate the charge, because now you're thinking. The one thing that is not taught in school is you're not taught in school to think. You're taught in school to educe. I mean, you're taught in school to repeat what somebody else put in the book. You're taught to think like somebody else. So there should be a class on thinking in school. Sorry for the thinking is very important, but we don't really get taught thinking in school. You're taught to think from somebody else's perspective. And that's why a lot of us don't, we're on autopilot. We think we're thinking, but no, you keep doing the same repetitive thing. And if you're doing the same repetitive thing, there's no growth in that. The only growth is to think outside of the bubble that you're in and go to the next thing, expand. Because like I said before in some of my videos, the mind wants to expand and express himself, but how can your mind, your spirit wants to expand and express itself, but how can your spirit expand and express itself when you stuck in a bubble and doing the repetitive things that are not inducive of the direction that you want to go in? And when these talks that I have, and they go for me too. I look back at my videos too. You have to. This is a big step for me to have so many videos on self-actualizing and go back into them and make sure that I'm applying what I'm reading and what I'm studying, because life is a big lesson. And you have to think your way into your results that you want. You have to think your way into the goals that you want. And I really don't, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna end the video, I don't really want to goal chase, because at the end of the day, you have all the tools that you need in your mind already. You have the answers to all of your questions and concerns and everything that you have in life already in you. Just need the awareness to deduce it out and do it. So when you go around saying that something's wrong with you or you're lacking something, you'll always keep saying that until you realize that there's nothing really wrong with you. You just have some area in your life that you're unaware. That's all. So this sun gonna be in the way, but yeah, we're gonna have some more videos. I'm in Chicago. I moved to Chicago. I meant to tell you guys that it's wonderful here. It's great, and I'm working on getting my life together, which is already. We get to the point where you wherever you want, you have to claim that you're already there. And, but yeah, I will see you guys soon. Peace.